Saturday, May 25th, 2024, we have King and Queen of the Ring in Saudi Arabia. We get our finals. We get to crown both the King of the Ring and the Queen of the Ring. But which superstars are going to actually end up winning these tournaments and becoming royalty as far as WWE television goes? And I just want to put this out there right now. Please, for the love of God, do not give them the king gimmick. Because at this point, if you look back at history, I seriously think the only king gimmick that ever worked, at least in modern times with the King of the Ring tournament, was, of course, King Booker himself. So with that said, tonight and on SmackDown, we've got ourselves 4 quarterfinal matches on both sides of the tournament. So let's get right into it. Tonight, Gunther, the Ring General, faces off against Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston, who did beat Rey Mysterio to advance to this quarterfinal round, albeit he beat him in a live event, which, again, in my opinion, it's the only reason Kofi Kingston beat Rey Mysterio, because for the most part, Rey Mysterio doesn't really lose on WWE TV. It's one of the things that's bothered me the most about him since I've been a fan of him since 2006. But that all aside, there is absolutely no way Kofi Kingston is beating Gunther tonight on Monday Night Raw, so he is advancing to the semifinals. And who will he face off? Will he face off against Ilya Dragunov or main event Jey Uso? Now this one is a bit tricky to predict because main event Jey Uso just had a world championship match. Yes, he lost to Damian Priest at Backlash, but still, for all intents and purposes, at least on the red brand, Jey Uso is a main event level guy. And as much as I would love to see Gunther versus Ilya Dragunov go one-on-one in the middle of the ring on a random Monday Night Raw, they just go all out 20-25 minutes, just how do you call it, chopping each other off, I don't think they're going to go with it. I don't think they're just going to pull the trigger on it right away. So, Gunther versus Jey Uso will be the semifinals, or the finals in this case, on the Monday Night Raw side. Now, SmackDown is just as tricky because even though we have the Legend Killer himself, or the Viper, whatever you want to call him, Randy Orton facing off against Carmelo Hayes. Look, Carmelo, he don't miss, and he's been fantastic on NXT. He got a tremendous win over Baron Corbin, who came back to the main roster to do exactly what he had been doing in the main roster, which is jobbing to other superstars. So with that said, Randy Orton is going to end up defeating Carmelo Hayes to advance to the semifinals. Now, who's he going to face in the semifinals? Because we got L.A. Knight, top superstar who deserves to win a lot more. He certainly cooled off a bit since his encounter with the Tribal Chief late last year. But LA Knight is facing off against Tama Tonga. And if we know one thing is that WWE is not going to make the bloodline look any weaker than it already has been looking. So, Tama Tonga, yes, with interference, whatever you want to call it, with a little help from Tonga Loa, with a little help from Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga advances to the semifinals on the SmackDown side of things. Now, here's the thing. Now we got Gunther versus Jey Uso in the semifinals on Raw. Who advances? And again, it might be a little bit similar to Jey Uso versus Ilya Dragunov. The difference is Ilya's just debuting on the main roster. The casual fan base, the mainstream fan base is just getting to know Ilya Dragunov. But they already know how bad ass of a superstar Gunther is. So Gunther is going to make it to the finals of the King of the Ring tournament by defeating main event Jey Uso in the finals on the Raw side. And on the SmackDown side, Randy Orton versus Tama Tonga. And against all odds, and this is going to set up future feuds, future rivalries, Randy Orton is going to beat Tama Tonga in that final. That way, we actually don't get heel versus heel because, let's be honest, nobody wants to see Gunther versus Tama Tonga just yet, at least not under these dynamics. And again, it might change. face-heel dynamics might not even matter. It is a tournament setting, but just for the sake of it, Randy Orton versus Gunther in the finals in Saudi Arabia. And the winner of the King of the Ring tournament, you might have guessed it by now, we got to give it to the Ring General, Mr. King of the Ring himself, Gunther. He's going to walk out with the win. Now, as far as the SmackDown side of things, or the women's side of things, excuse me, we got quarterfinal matches as well. It's pretty safe to say the Raw side is a lot weaker than the SmackDown side, but hey, let's get into it. Shayna Baszler faces off against former women's champion Io Sky on the Monday Night Raw side of things, and this is an easy W for Io Sky as far as the result goes. I'm not saying in ring-wise. I'm just saying that they are preparing, they are attempting to put damage control in such a place that they confront Becky Lynch at some point in time, which means you have to make Io Sky look strong, which means she advances to the semifinals. Now, the other side, Lyra Valkyria versus Zoe Stark. Look, I've been a fan of Zoe Stark since she made her debut. I've been a fan of Zoe Stark since she was behind Trish Stratus on as far as storyline goes. However, they haven't really done much with her, and again, I don't want her to suffer the same fate as Liv Morgan, which is start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. No, just if you have something for her and you're going to push her, push her. If not, put her in the back burner, let her breathe. So with that said, Lyra Valkyria advances to the semifinals on the Raw side of things. SmackDown. We could have tag team champions facing off against each other in the semifinals, but that's not going to happen. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. WWE is going to have Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair in the semifinals on a random SmackDown. Much like with Ilya and Gunther, it's just not going to happen. So one of them has to lose. And let me tell you, it won't be Jade because she just made her debut. So Jade beats Nia Jax, who advances to the semifinals, and then Tiffany Stratton. It's Tiffy time, baby. She steals one from Mrs. EST herself, Bianca Belair. Now, who wins the semifinals? Io Sky versus Lyra Valkyria. You already know this. Io Sky ends up winning it. Io Sky beats Lyra Valkyria in a fantastic match. These two women can absolutely go. So I'm looking forward to it. At least in-ring wise, it's pretty strong. Character wise, not so much. SmackDown side of things, Jade Cargill versus Tiffany Stratton. Now here's the tricky part. I would love for Tiffany Stratton to be Queen of the Ring. However, like I said, I don't see Jade Cargill losing anytime soon, at least not on a random episode of WWE TV. So, Jade Cargill ends up beating Tiffany Stratton, makes it to the finals, and you have someone like Io Sky, her size, her athletic ability, her in-ring prowess, facing off against a superstar who, for lack of a better term, can't really perform at that high level, wrestling-wise. So, Jade Cargill versus Io Sky. Who ends up winning it? Jade Cargill herself. Jade Cargill becomes Queen of the Ring, which again, opens up a little bit more of a quote-unquote sibling rivalry between the tag team champs for the future, because we will eventually get to to Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill down the line. Just not on a random SmackDown. So with that said, those are my thoughts. Those are my winners of these tournaments so far with the results given. Gunther on the men's side of things and Jade Cargill on the women's side of things. However, again, the bracket's wide open. We got 8 fantastic matches set for this week. Leave your thoughts, your predictions, your brackets on the comment section below. With that said, I'm Alexis Carrillo. This has been Wrestling Talk, and I'll see you next time.